Megan. I am a Scentsy director and I wanted to tell you a story about earning an incentive trip. As you know, Scentsy have just recently announced our 2020 trip, which is a cruise from New York City to Bermuda. New York is the most amazing city in the whole entire world. So I'm super excited for that one. It also happens to be a week before my 40th birthday. So thank you, Scentsy, for throwing me the most amazing 40th birthday trip ever with some of my best friends, or all of my best friends in the whole entire world. And it's Scentsy Shout. So I wanted to tell you a story that will hopefully inspire you to earn the next incentive trip. So the story I'm telling you about is the cruise to the Mediterranean. So it was 2018 incentive trip. Yes, sorry, 2018. And I had previously been on all the incentive trips without my husband. So we've been married for 14 years. We've been together for 14 years, married for 9. And I had been to Singapore, I'd been on a trip to Melbourne, I'd been to New York City, and I had done all these things without my husband. So when they announced that the next trip was a cruise around the Mediterranean, I'm fairly certain I screamed and I probably cried and I jumped up and down, and I swore that I was not going to do it without him. He is the backbone of my business. He's the most amazing husband and father, and he had encouraged me to go on all these trips without him for some time for me and to grow my business, and he had always stayed home and looked after our boys. So when they announced this one, my husband and I had done, before we had children, back in the days, before we had kids, we had travelled around Europe for 2 months in a camper van, and we had been to a lot of the places on the Mediterranean coast where the cruise was going to. So it was a way that we could relive and re-experience this amazing trip that we'd had 10 years ago. And now that we had small children, probably wouldn't get to do it again anytime soon. So I swore I was taking him. I was going to earn this trip for 2. So I sat down and I did my plan and I worked out how I was going to get the points, what I was going to do to get them, how many points I needed. I broke it down into bite-sized chunks, and then I did this beautiful big pink poster which I stuck on the door of my office. Every time I walked into my office, I looked at it. Every time my husband walked past my office door, he could have a look at my tracker. He could ask me where we were at. We would talk about it together, and that tracker helped me stay focused and know what I needed to do to earn that trip. So I was really fortunate that I earned that trip for 2 in 4 months. So I had earned it by the middle of December. So for Christmas, I printed out a picture of the cruise ship, and I said to my husband, "Merry Christmas, beautiful. Thank you for everything that you do for me and our family and my business. And for Christmas, I have got you a trip on a cruise ship going around the Mediterranean next year." And he's not an emotional man, but I'm fairly certain there was a tear or 2 shed. So it was an absolutely incredible experience that I could plan my trip and then work it and, plan earning the trip, work it and make it happen for my husband and myself. Now, as it would turn out, Scentsy ended up offering the top earners of that trip the opportunity to change the trip and go to the Caribbean, which we decided not to do. And then they offered a cash buyout for the top earners of that trip. Now, my husband and I were super focused over the past couple of years on paying out some bad debt that we had, and we decided that we would be crazy if we turned down that opportunity. So thanks to Scentsy, we were able to pay out the last of our store cards and credit cards that we had. So we didn't go on the Mediterranean cruise, but it was a massive weight lifted off our shoulders by paying out that debt. And we used some of the money to go away for a weekend, just the 2 of us, and we used some of the money for me to go to reunion in Anaheim last year, which just turned out to be the most amazing experience. and I have since taken him to Cancun and to Queenstown this year, so he's not complaining at all. And I'm either going to take him to Bermuda or Europe next year on this incentive trip. So yeah, that was my story about earning the Mediterranean cruise, how we wanted it, how we planned it, and then we worked to make it happen together. And yeah, how all of your dreams can come true thanks to Scentsy. So thanks guys. Bye.